Oh. I'm trying to see, should I send a live?
There we go.
She got a choir robe on? What's going on?
Hey, God bless everyone. God bless everyone. Hey, welcome again. Congress of Servants, Faith Talk Conversation. This is the singles edition. We got our favorite cast members. They are back again. They are running this. They about to take over. I'm just here for the beginning, and I'm out. I know my exit sign, and I always make my exit sign. I don't miss it. Okay, I got to make my exit. All right, but I got my favorite people on here. I got a hidden little special guest might pop in a little bit later, but hey, they'll see it in a minute. But anyway, we're going to talk about a great topic today. I can't wait to have this conversation because basically we was just talking in a little chat room in the green room about Jasmine Sullivan's song. I know y'all Christian folks know who Jasmine Sullivan is, so we ain't gonna go there. Y'all act like y'all don't know who she is. Y'all was lying. But anyway, we just talking about her recent single that she just released, A Girl Like Me. She said some things in there. I know she was talking universal, but it hit points. But at the same time, I have questions, how do we really understand the impact that we have on other people in the relationship and all that other stuff. So we're going to talk about all that and more in today's, but I got my favorite people on here. I got Pastor Isaiah Pettway on here.
Good evening, y'all.
Look at him.
Zeke.
Look at him. He looking like $1 million right there. That's $1 million. That's what $1 million look like right there.
Hey, Zeke probably got $1 million up under his mattress because I know my brother.
Y'all being very kind.
Yeah, I speak of wealth in his life. He looks like $1 million.
I receive every bit of it.
I just want to shake your hand. Just feel that wealth. You know what I'm saying? And then we got Evangelist Jackie Johnson over here. She's ready for the summer. If you look at her hair, she's ready. She's ready. I don't understand it. She's ready. She got the different color hair right now. Unmute yourself, Jackie. Come on, unmute yourself. Yeah, she didn't even know.
She all excited. She done muted her.
I'm just over here waving and talking.
Yeah, see? Jackie's ready for the summer. Look at her.
I am. Listen, I'm a summer baby. Birthday June 3rd. I'm ready.
All right, I try to remember.
Are your birthday June 3rd? I didn't know that.
Yes.
All right, I'll try to remember that. Man, that
you will. You my brother. You supposed to. Thank you.
I remember it. It's in my phone right now. June 3rd on the calendar. Summer is ready. Okay.
Okay.
Her birthday the week after mine. That's easy to remember.
Yeah, I can remember that. That's really
week after mine.
Then I got my other favorite brother on here. They call him Pretty Ricky.
I'm
talking about Elder Dale Bryant over here. He look at him. He look cute magazine right here. Look at
Did you just say Pretty Ricky?
Pretty Ricky. That's what they call.
Wow. Okay. That's where we at. Okay.
Oh, that's where we at right now. That's where we at.
That's what we at. Okay.
I'm just saying, you out here, I can see you now, 40 under 40, right here. This is it right here, 40 under 40, right here. This is the man right here. All right.
How y'all doing? How everybody doing?
Good. Good to see you, man.
JoJo, Pastor Pettway.
Hey.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, man. Evangelist Tia.
Who that? The flyer says Sister Tia. I'm not Evangelist.
Evangelist Tia. Hey, y'all notice she got the drip to the side going on. You see that?
Hey, I was going to address that. You notice that too? I don't know what you're trying to show for, or I need to address this right now. Maybe it's an exit.
You can't come in and act right.
That's okay. Next time I'm gonna have on the hair pulled to the back and a jogging suit.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Why are you gonna wear a jogging suit? Why?
Because I can't win for losing with y'all. It's always something.
Hey, I'm glad.
Always something.
I'm glad.
Isaiah, thank you for being the only nice one on here. You and my sister, I love you so much.
Yeah.
I'm just glad.
Pastor Pettway, he behaves so well. Such a
He
gentleman.
does.
I try.
What you say? I don't behave, Jackie?
Woo, God bless. I love you, bro.
That's fine.
Hey,
Hi,
Jojo,
Sylvia.
I'm loving this red velvet hair though.
You love my hair, bro?
Yeah, that's like a red velvet thing you got
Red
going on.
velvet.
Red
I'm trying to come up. I'm trying to come up. Yeah. Probably some strawberry shortcake, bro.
Oh my.
Hey, I ain't got nothing to do with that.
I got
I ain't
nothing
got
to
nothing
do
to do
with
with
that.
That's
that.
my alter ego.
That's why I log out at right there.
That's your exit. Exit
Yep.
left. Exit left right now. All right.
That's where I log out.
All right. And all right. Look, y'all know my sister, Tia Honey. She got her edges done. So guess what?
You know what? I can't.
Carlton.
She's ready.
Behave,
I'm
elder.
just saying. And look, she had a whole weekend. She had a spa day. She had a vacation. I mean, she did. Now she look. You see her skin is glowing. That's how it is.
Nice weekend.
Yes, that's how relaxation looks. That's how what relaxation looks. If you need to know what relaxation looks, bam, look at Tia.
There you go. Have at it.
Yep. And I want to introduce to everyone. She is the Congress of Servants, one of our main therapists for the Congress of Servants. She is at work right now. I could tell because of the signs in the background. I ain't gonna talk about her no more, but her name is Sylvia Marie. She has a great business. Tell them us about your business that you have.
Hello, everybody. I am, just to back up before I get into the business, I have a bachelor's and master's degree in social work. So I'm a social worker by trade. I'm currently working as a therapist. That's what I'm gifted at doing. I just went full-time into private practice. So I have a company.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
It's been a struggle, but that just tells me I'm on the right path.
Yes.
And happy week too.
So,
It's social worker month.
it is. Thank you.
Happy. Yes, congrats.
Yeah, so it is Social Workers Appreciation Month. So yeah, if you know a social worker, tell them thank you. We work really, really hard and don't really get a lot of appreciation. So if you are a social worker or work in the field of social work and you're watching this, I appreciate you for all that you do. But I do have a business called the Silver Lining Project. Well, the Silver Lining, it's kind of like a play on words. So it's my name, but it's also, I know you guys are familiar with like the silver lining or what we know it as to be. So pretty much like finding the good even in the bad. That's kind of like what I do in my life, and that's what I empower other people to do. So right now I am partnered with a company called Sankofa Life Solutions out of Belleville, and I am doing therapy, and I'm actually working from home, brother. So this is my kitchen.
Oh, all right. She worked from home. Must be nice. And guess what? Salute to all the social workers. I did not know it was Social Workers Month.
Yes.
So that's to Jackie, that's to Sylvia. I think I know another social worker, Lindsay Smith. Salute to you.
My sister, Michelle Johnson.
There we go. Who else?
Out to her.
I feel like I'm missing something. I think, Pastor Jason Mosley.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
We appreciate
you, sir. Social Workers Month. And guess what? We're going to get a month too. All right. I'm going to get my own month. All right.
Everybody need a month.
I need a whole month. All right. So let's go ahead and begin. I'm glad that everyone's back on here. Today, we got a special guest with Sylvia. Sylvia, I know you're the newcomer.
I've been watching y'all though.
You see, she's been watching y'all. You already know she's ready. She's ready for you, elder. She's ready for you, pastor. She's ready.
Oh, Lord. We got some help on the line.
Got some help on the line. So it's a disadvantage right now. It's 3-2. I gotta figure out something else. I gotta get another guy on here to balance everything out. I don't want my guys to be out here standing by themselves. But I know Pastor Isaiah and Elder, they can hold it down. They can handle Tia, Jackie, and Sylvia. I ain't worried about them. We gonna win this debate. All right. I'm saying we're gonna win the debate. The man is gonna win the debate. Okay, y'all's had February.
I thought we were having a conversation. I didn't know we were debating.
Yeah,
Yeah, we just having this conversation.
yeah, let me log
He's
let me
always
log
up
off
to
now.
something.
Let me
Always.
log off right now.
Right.
Don't exit. Don't exit. Don't exit. No, don't exit. Stay on. Stay on. Stay on. All right, for all of our guests, I just want you to know you can now follow us on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. You can see our previous conversations that we are had on there. You can catch the funny moments, every conversation that we had, especially the holiday moments, the holiday season moment, our mental health is also on there. And very soon, we'll be making a very important announcement as far as with our podcast, Congress of Service podcast will be releasing. You'll get all the all previous audio on the podcast and the upcoming sessions as well. So salute to these great men and women of God who has been holding it down, who has been producing the content. And I'm so proud of this group and how they've been holding this singles edition, because people have been asking, sending questions in. I say, they got to talk about this. I like, hold on, I got to talk to them about that. If they don't want to talk about it, we ain't going to talk about it. So that's how that's going to go. Yo, so if you want to, you still can submit your questions, post your comments. We'll get to them and we're going to talk about them. Trust me, we are going to talk about everything. We've been talking about everything so far, but we still going to get down to the nitty gritty, okay? So, all right, let's go into today's conversation. We talking about today's conversation is dating with the purpose. Dating with the purpose. Dating after a heartbreak. All of us have a heart broken before. All of us had those situations where I'm just going to talk about me, then I'm going to exit left. That's my cue, okay? All right, this is my exit. I have been that person that had their heart broken, and I took it out on the next 30 women. Just because the simple fact I realized me being nice was not cutting it. Me treating you right, treating you like the lady that you are, wasn't cutting it. So which in turn more turned me into that guy just don't give a care, a jerk. Which really I just adapted and called myself Tyrone. All right, I name it. That's Tyrone talking. Tyrone is talking today. So with that in saying, how do you feel? What past history, past experience? With dealing with heartbreak, what was your transitioning after your heartbreak? So I don't care who opens up, who starts it. Sylvia, since you're the newcomer, guess what? It's on you. Okay, you
That's fine. Thank you. I'm actually in that space right now, honestly, so it's perfect.
It was on you. God told me to tell you. Go ahead.
Don't lie on God.
Don't do
So,
that.
shout out to my family, because my family, thing about it is, I don't share anything about my relationship. So if y'all learn anything new today, you learn something new. But anyway, my last serious relationship was it ended in 2016. And I had moved out of state. Like it was like I was doing a lot. So it wasn't just like the relationship ending. It was, you uprooted your whole life for this person. Now what? Like, what do you have to show for it? So for me, the heartbreak also came with like a shame and like really having to start over. Like I was there and had good enough sense to come back home. Because at first I was like, I can't go back home. Like I'm talking about this move, I didn't fall out, but had a conversation with my mama, like a heated conversation with my mama about, we don't get into it like that. So like this was something big. And now I'm talking about this relationship ended a week after I moved to the new place. So I'm in a year lease in a job that was terrible. Also, if you work at that place, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. yeah, so now I'm like, okay, no relationship. You hate your job. Like what are you gonna do? So my heartbreak, it was like compounded, like heartbreak, starting over, just all of that. So I had to work my way through that piece of it, if it makes sense. Like I had to figure out, before I could deal with heartbreak, deal with that, the relationship ended, I had to deal with what's going on with me. So I think because I kind of deal with all my situations like that, my, I guess, heartbreaks per se last longer, because I deal with how I got there in the first place first. And then I deal with the other person. So for me, my situations last, I think, a little longer than other people. And you guys can speak to this, I don't know, but it just my observation, I just feel like people move on faster than I do.
Anybody. She moved on. She said she was dealing with herself after the relationship. So that's anyone. How did you deal with the heartbreak after?
So I'll go. I've had, I would say, in the two most serious relationships I've been in, one, of course, I was married and then got divorced. And then one, I was engaged and then had to break that off prior to. And what I'll say is this, a couple things. One, I think that whenever you go through a heartbreak, you have to be honest with yourself about the fact that your heart is broken, right? And give yourself space and opportunity to exist in that, to grieve that, to process that. Because hurt people hurt people. And if you're not careful, you will bleed on somebody who doesn't deserve that, right? And you have to put yourself in a position to heal. And so for me, I literally was like, no, I'm going to take time. I got to figure out what I want. I need to figure out what I want my next relationship to be like, define those things, and really started focusing in on who I wanted to become outside of a relationship. I had been in a relationship for so long, for so many, me and my ex-wife, we got together when we were 19. So I had been in a relationship for so long. It was like, okay, you're not in this relationship anymore. Who do you want to be? Like, what does reality look like for you? And allowing myself that space to sort of kind of navigate that. The other thing is, I think we underestimate the power of finding joy and just enjoying people in life. Like, that was part of my healing process, was like, okay, just have fun, find ways to have fun, enjoy yourself, enjoy meeting people. I'm not dating seriously. I'm not trying to do that, but I'll go hang out with people. We can enjoy ourselves, all of that, to give myself space to change and to transition and to become. And you got to process that. I don't think we talk enough about. People make a habit of, okay, I was in this relationship, it broke, my heart was broken, so the best way to get over the last one is to get under the new one, right? That kind of attitude. When in reality, you need to process that. Like, what just happened? Like, what went wrong? What part did I play in that? What do I need to work on in me so that I can grow? Because your heart is going to get broken. It's inevitable. Like, it's going to happen. So with that, use it as a growth opportunity to figure out, what do I need to do and what do I need to change? And for me, there was a lot of stuff that I had to go back and say, part of the reason why these relationships are not working is because you're not clear as to what you really want in a relationship. So take some time, define what you want, what you're looking for, that's going to make you be in a position where you'll work through whatever in a relationship.
Awesome. I guess I can go next. Can y'all hear me real good?
Yeah.
Okay. So mine was the last serious relationship that I was in, and it was public, was it ended going into 2017. I was dating, and that was like so public. When I say public, like, we posted everything we did. Wherever I was at preaching, he was there. And it ended on a bad note. but it allowed me time to kind of get me together as well. Because sometimes if we be honest, we'll always say, well, it wasn't me, that person. Even regardless, even if that person triggers something to happen as a breakdown in the relationship. But what I've learned is to actually take responsibility too for my own action. And so I've been single since. I'm not dating anyone. I have friends. That's it. I'm like what Pastor said. I'll go out. We can eat, hang out, or whatever. But I'm very honest and I'm upfront. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm leading someone on. So if I go to dinner with you, I'm gonna tell you the truth. You know, hey, we can hang out, we can go eat. I'll even pay for myself. So that way, when some people pay for you, then you're obligated to do certain stuff. And so where I'm at in life, I'm actually, like I said in the other video session we had, I'm actually finally happy with me. I'm actually finally in a place in my life where I can really, really think straight to accomplish some things. And I had to take this time, and I took time off from dating and all that stuff, not just for me, but as well as for my son, because he was going into adulthood. He was getting ready to graduate from high school. So I devoted a lot of my time and attention to him. So it's really, even now, it's been me and him. It's me and him growing together because I'm still getting him ready, you know, with the aid of his dad, of course, for adulthood as a man. And so I can honestly say I wasn't bitter. I was angry at certain stuff, but I didn't allow it to make me bitter, because bitterness means that I'm looking at marriage and dating like I'm good. I hear so many people say, I will never get married again. I will never date again. And we have to be careful with those type of people. I call them serial daters, that they'll just date with the intention of never actually committing or getting to a relationship. That's not my testimony. I actually took that time to heal me, to get me together, to get my attitude together, and to get the main thing together, which is my emotions. Because sometimes even as women, our emotions can control us instead of allowing our headspace to control us. So now when I'm presented with certain situations, I don't go in it with my emotions. I look at the situation, I'm like, do I really, let me just get to know the person. I may like you, you may have everything I want, but oftentimes we don't get a chance to learn that person, how can I say, their emotion, their mental status. Because there's a lot of people that look good, but mentally, they are so messed up and destroyed. So I'm at the point in my life where now, yes, I can make the decision if I want to deal with you or not, because I don't have to. I know what I bring to the table, so I don't mind eating at the table by myself. And a good friend of mine, y'all know him, Dr. Connors, he always say is, I'd rather wait long than to marry wrong. So that's where I'm at. I'm happy finally being single. Like, I never was able to just be by myself and just be single. I may love you. Like I said, we can kick it, do all that good stuff, but I'm actually happy in the space that I am in. Am I ready to get married? Absolutely. I'm finally can say, yes, I'm ready. But even in saying that, I'm still preparing, I'm still watching, I'm still being careful, and I'm taking my time. So I thank God for allowing me to have this space and time to get Jackie together. So.
Okay, I'll bite. My experience has been different. I haven't been in a relationship since I've been divorced. I got divorced 2015. So we've been separated. It'll be 7 years this year, divorced 6. And as I dealt with me, I was very bitter. I was bitter for a number of reasons. Because I felt like my entire life was devoted. I had no identity. I was bitter about that. I was just his wife, and then I was their mother, and then I was the church's first lady, and then all of that other type of stuff. So I was bitter about a lot of things. I was bitter about finances. I was bitter just about a lot, the way that everything went down. So I didn't date anybody for a long time, for years. As I started dealing with myself, once I thought I was over one thing, it was like an onion. Stuff was just peeling back and peeling back and peeling back. So stuff that I thought that I was healed from, I wasn't. And once I got over that one thing, then it triggered something else. So I went through a lot of phases to being healed from heartbreak, because it's not just about your heart. Either your mind is broken, the way that you look at people is messed up. I looked at anybody who showed me interest, I immediately got angry. Like, no lie, no exaggeration. You're interested. Why? Like, I was angry. Like, I'm not even interested. I was one of them like, oh, I'll never date. Oh, I'll never get married. I'm not doing this again. I was that person. So it took a long time for me to get to where I am now. And then on top of all of that, when you date, you're not just dating just so you can find companionship and stuff like that, because you date to get married. And in order for me to get married, I have to trust you and trust you in every aspect. So when it came to finances and stuff like that, I knew that, becoming one with somebody, no, my money is my money and your money is your money. And I know that I couldn't be that way. So I knew I wasn't ready to date anybody. So I took this entire time, this whole 6-7 years, peeling through all of that. And that took some time. Now I'm at a point where I'm open to dating. I'm open to the possibility of getting married. If I get married again, I'm okay with that. If that's not what the Lord sees fit for me, I'm okay with that too. And it even took me a long time to be honest about that, because everybody could desire marriage, but for a long time, I figured I wasn't fit for marriage. If I did everything I could, change who I was to be married, and he still left, then maybe I'm not fit for marriage. So it's a lot of things, a lot of layers and processes I had to get through to be who I am now. And it's not pretty. That whole process isn't pretty. So that's why I made the joke and said, I'll be listening more than talking, because I haven't dated anybody since I was married. Not seriously. I mean, I've gone on dates and stuff like that, but I haven't been in a relationship at all since I've been divorced.
All right. Before we move on to Elder, Tia, you went on dates? I got you. You told on yourself. You went on dates. You didn't tell me. So now, see, Sylvia, she drinking. She like, ooh, you in trouble now. Guess what?
I went on an outing.
You went out to
I went on some outings.
Outings. So you like coffee? You talking about lunch?
I don't drink coffee. That's
you talking about breakfast? Hey, long good. Don't drink coffee.
I went on a breakfast outing. I went on a lunch outing. I went on a dinner outing.
All right. Say less. Elder, go ahead.
What was the question again? I just want to make sure I stay on the right path. Can you repeat? Because I went to public school, man of God. So.
Oh, I went to Detroit Public School too. Yeah. That's why I just forgot.
Yeah.
All right.
The question was, how did you deal with dating, or how did you get to dating after heartbreak?
Dating after heartbreak. Well, for me, my situation was a little different, because I dated after heartbreak without getting healed. And what I found out is that you can love a person and not trust a person. And what happened with me, because of my relationship with my biological mother, when she left, I never had the opportunity to deal with that pain. And so my biological mother became the billboard for all of the other women that I came in connection with. And what I mean by that is I always got close to women, but never trusted women. So I was able to love them, but never really allowed them to come in. So they knew I was there, but they couldn't feel that, that closeness. Y'all know what I mean? That like you here, but you really not here. And I had that situation with a lot of different women that I was dating, not realizing that was a pain that was contributed because of my biological mother. And so I realized that you can love somebody and not trust them. You could be in a relationship and not trust them. And this is the dysfunctional thing that I was doing. And so it took me confronting where I was and saying to myself, hey, you connected with a bunch of different women. And the reason why a lot of your relationships fail is because you never offer them what they offer you. And that was an opportunity to be trusted. And so for me, once I came to a place of confronting where you are, I think, especially in the Black community, we so quick to put stuff up under the rug. You turn the lights off on it, don't really want to talk about it. You know, whatever happens at the house stays at the house, that kind of scenario. And that type of teaching has been handed down from generation to generation. And so we never got the opportunity to really talk about stuff, and we brush over it. And so even though I felt this way and I kept it to myself, it damaged a bunch of relationships that I had with maybe some potentially good women. And so for me, it took me confronting where I really was, being able to tell somebody else, hey, listen, or a therapist, or, you know, sit down and talk with somebody and say, hey, this is why I'm the way I am, because of the hurt that one woman contributed in my life has caused me to hurt a bunch of different other women indirectly. So yeah, getting to a place to where I was able to confront my own issues, because a lot of times we like to find fault in the person that we're dating, but not really trying to find the fault in where we stand. So for me, just confronting and self-assessing and coming toe to toe to what I like to call the first stage of deliverance for me, was confronting where I really was and saying to myself that it wasn't the woman per se, it was me being in a place of trusting who she really was. So yeah, that's my little spiel.
Wow.
So then what's next? When you healed, and you realize that you're ready to date, then what's next? How do you move from I know I've heard some people and kind of, I guess, having fear in dating. How do you move past that?
Well, believe it or not, I'm in a place now to where I'm ready to get married. So I'm looking for, I'm looking for Mrs. Bryant, and preferably that's gonna happen real soon. So yeah, I'm not even. Hold on.
While I'm clapping, we'll talk about this after the show.
Don't do that, sis. Yeah, but yeah, I'm at a place now to where I'm ready for marriage. So, but it took a long time because I didn't come into that understanding until probably in my early 30s. I was preaching when that came to me. I was literally preaching a message about men being brokenhearted and not being honest with themselves and going through failed relationship after failed relationship. And that's when that kind of came to me. Like, the reason why you in the same place is because you ain't been honest with yourself. So yeah, after all of that, I'm finally in a place now to where I can offer a woman not just some form of love, but I can also give her the trust that she needs in order for me to love her. So yeah, I'm looking to get married.
I am loving all of this.
I think and congratulations. I'm not there yet, Elder Bryant. So God bless you. Bless you, man of God. God bless you. But what I will say,
low key, Pettway just killed all the little joy I had about marriage.
No, Reverend. I want you to know. I say that celebrating that. No, I am, in all seriousness, I am celebrating you getting there, because that you don't get back to that place without real hard work. And so
yeah.
No, I say that in all sincerity, that I celebrate with you, and I'm glad to hear that. I think for me,
good cleanup too.
I think what you have to do is you have to define what are next steps for you. I think one of the most dangerous things that we can do is give people a universal idea of what that looks like next, when in reality, it's unique to every individual, it's unique to every experience. And what you have to do is you have to take time. If you are at a point where you're like, okay, I've processed, I think I'm ready, what does that look like for you? Are you, Tia said earlier, you date to marry. Well, maybe you're not at a point where you want to date to marry. You want to date for fun. So what does that look like for you? Maybe to the next steps of that is for you defining what that is. For me, it was, okay, look, I ain't trying to be that. So we can have fun, we can hang out. And I had to be upfront and honest with people that I was engaging with. This is what I'm looking for. This is not what you're looking for. Then I'm probably not the person you need to be talking to right now. Like that. So defining what that is for you and being okay with it. I think And the other thing is to recognize that it's a continuous process, right? Because there are things that I know, like in dating, that once I started back dating, there were triggers that I did not recognize until I was in it. And it was like, oh, hold on a second. Like, let me back up, because I gotta see what that is. I gotta recognize what that is. For me, I will be honest. So I'm in a serious relationship now. I'm dating. I'm not at the marriage part yet, but I'm dating. I'm in a serious relationship. And the reason why this relationship became serious was because honestly, it restored my belief it restored my belief in the fact that I could be loved the way that I wanted to be loved, and that I could be treated the way I wanted to be treated. Because the people I was coming in contact with, my exes, the people I were dating, I had defined what I wanted that to be, and it wasn't matching. And so for me, it was like, okay, that marriage off the table. I'm just gonna have fun when I want to spend time with people, whatever. But when I came in contact with somebody who started checking those things off the list, it was like, okay, now this is something that I can engage with differently. So I can shift from dating for having fun to dating for commitment, right? And so you have to define for you what that is. Your next steps are not going to be the same as my next steps. You have to be honest with yourself. And the Bible says, I ain't trying to be deep, but the Bible says that the Spirit will lead us into all truth. You got to tap into the Holy Spirit. And like, what is my next steps in this? I could not immediately jump into dating for commitment again. I needed a period of time where I could just have fun and enjoy people again, because it put me in a position where I could move beyond that. So you have to be honest about where you are and define those steps for yourself. And be committed to that beyond what other people say. Because you're gonna have people saying, girl, you need to go ahead and get out there. Boy, you need, I had people telling me, you a pastor of a church, and it just don't look good for you to be young and single. You need to no, I'm good. Like we not gonna do that. So define what that is for you and stick with that.
I would say everything that you all said, but overall, I feel like the next step is moving forward. And moving forward looks different for everybody. Like you all said, like one relationship, it was a serious relationship. So it took some time, much longer than it would take for me to somebody that I was dating. Like, Tia has said, like, I've gone on, had coffee dates. I've had, some dinner dates, but I knew the phase of moving forward. Like, I'm very aware of the stage of moving forward that I'm in, and depending on the season. Like, if I'm dating just for fun, I'm really not really good. Let me be honest. I try to be intentional about making that known and just making my boundaries known so that everybody's on the same page. Because I think that's what a lot of people get confused and kind of caught up in. Like, you can move forward and not necessarily move forward to somebody else. Just move forward, and whatever that path looks like, that's what it looks like.
You just preached a whole sermon. You can move forward without moving to a person. You just preached a whole sermon. That's just
absolutely. Jackie, you're muted. I don't know what you're saying.
I'm just agreeing. I'm saying I'm in the amen corner.
So Isaiah, after you did you said you had a checklist. Mm-hmm. And I guess because I know you like personally, other than church world. So for me, that's why I smile so hard. But when you said, "Oh no, I'm in a committed relationship," I smile so hard because I know that's major, right? So at what point did you realize that, oh, I can do this? Not just the checklist, but I'm talking about in you, not in the person, that you realize that you can go ahead and move forward?
It was the fact that the existing in the space with myself, those things in me that would be triggered weren't triggered anymore. Like, it was like those things about it that I had developed as a result of my other relationships, where it was sort of kind of like it would happen and I'd be, oh, hold on, play it back up. Like, nope, this is not going to, like, those things weren't happening anymore. And that was an indication to me that those places in me had healed. There had been some progress there. And it put me in a position where I'm like, okay, well, if there's going to be something, I'm at least in a position to be able to at least attempt it, right? That to put in the energy, the effort for it. Now, what I will say is like, again, I will say I'm not ready. I'm not at all. And I made that clear too. Like, I'm not at all in that marriage place yet. I'm not there.
Mhm.
But am I in a place where I'm like, okay, this is somebody who, I want to, see what this is and engage. Yes. And it might not work out. And that's okay too. And this is something that I think I learned is that I am going into any relationship I'm going into now with what I would want this to look like if it don't work out. And I am functioning from that place, right? Because I think, and I know this is sort of kind of bad to say, or people hear it and they think it's bad, because who goes into a relationship planning for it to end? But what I have learned is that if you are not intentional in a relationship in every way, then you will mess yourself up. So I'm going into it saying, okay, I'm happy with this. This is great. And then if it doesn't work out, this is how I want to function as a result of it not working out. And so let's start from that. Like, let's use that as a guide. Let's start from there. And I think that those things and being intentional with that put me in a place where I felt more comfortable saying, okay, well, now at least let me try. Because at first I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, nope, we good. Like, it's me, Jesus, and my child. Like, we all right. But the truth of the matter is there is power in relationship. There's power in commitment, and those things are wonderful. And I do believe that God gets glory out of us being in relationship with other people, and even in romantic relationships. And so I think that there's something there, but you got to be ready for that. Like, and you got to be honest with yourself. And for me, it was that noticing of triggers, things like, the fact that, I was at a point where questions like, what you doing today would trigger me. Like, hold on, like, what, you trying to control me? You trying to be I would literally go down this list of things in my head, because that's what I had been experiencing. Or, I come home and, you like, who you been talking, like that kind of, that was, those things were triggers. So at the point where I could be asked a question like, oh, what you do today? And it was just like, oh, that's just a question. Like, you just want to know what I did today. That for me was an indication that progress had been made and I could engage in a different way.
Okay. So I got a question in my personal inbox that said, what do you do when you're fearful of, I think they mean fearful of moving on? What?
Mhm.
I guess what they're asking me is, what do you do when you're fearful, I guess, wasting your time? When you're fearful of wasting your time, dating and just wasting all of that time, dating somebody and it doesn't work out.
I think that goes back to knowing why you're dating. There is no waste of time if I'm just dating you to have fun. Also, it goes back to what we were talking about in regards to, like, not going into, I'll speak for myself, because I point fingers at me. Not going into every relationship thinking that you're about to get married. Like, I'm guilty, but I'm guilty because that's all I saw. Like, I only knew my mom to date and get married. Like, that's it. That's how it's supposed to go. And I think a lot of women who probably saw the same thing, or just only knew their mom or their dad to be married, you're thinking this is how it's supposed to go. So I think for me, at least, that's where the anxiety comes into. It's like, well, I'm supposed to date this man and get married, but I've done that 4 times this year. So I think that's where the anxiety and the worry and the frustration comes in regards to moving forward. Sometimes the thing is, you're moving forward is simply to see what's out there. It's not always going to result in marriage.
I agree. I think when it comes to dating and stuff like that, I think you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. I don't think anything is wasted time, because in everything, you need to learn something. In every relationship, you're going to learn, because for me, I can't say relationships, but for every person I dated, or even in my friendships, I learned a lot about me. So it's never a waste of time, in my opinion. I do believe that a person will show you who they are off rip. And if you try to say or give excuses for a person, even in dating, if they come off and they always on some excuse type stuff, or if they come off and they're not good communicators and you are, all of that type of stuff plays into how long you're going to entertain somebody that, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, wasting time is your fault. I'll say for me, it's wasting time. That's kind of like my fault, because you've already shown me who you are. I'm the one who's pressing it, because I'm like, oh no, well, just maybe I'm the person that always try to see the other side, always try to find the good and the bad, or you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And don't do that. Once somebody show you who they are, or y'all having these conversations and it's not, it's not what you want, then let that person be your friend if that's what you want. And if not, move on. Don't press something that doesn't need to be pressed.
I agree. If I can interject what you just said, dating is never a waste of time when you know how to truly use that time. So if you're giving all your time to a person, that's when you'll get exhausted saying, I done wasted time. And you don't have to be around a person every day to day. You don't have to talk to a person every day to day. I have finally found a way to date as being a friend. Be friends.
Absolutely.
No better way to know a person would being their friend. Because if you be their friend, in friendships, any ships that you get on, eventually you will see that real person just being their friend. So they can't fake. They can't fake their emotions or their mental status or any of that when you're just a friend. And then friendship may lead to something else. But if it doesn't lead forward, and like Sylvia said, you can move forward without that person. But you're not a friend. Every person you meet doesn't mean that's the one. So you will exhaust yourself thinking that every person that said they like you, oh, well, let's go eat. You're exhausting yourself just because a guy say you're pretty, or just because y'all may have things in common. You can have things in common with a person, but it does not mean that is the one as a life. And I have to learn that you can actually love somebody, but that doesn't mean that that's the person that has been ordained to meet you purpose. Because I truly believe that purpose meets purpose. Purpose attracts purpose. And if that person is really, really the one, I just believe that God will show both of you at the same time. And then you make that decision to move forward into the next step of the relationship. But it has to be on one accord. And again, we just got to be honest in the beginning stage of dating. Tell the person what you want. Be upfront. I'm not like me. I'll tell a guy, I'm not just dating you just to be wasting time. What are we doing? Then I'm very honest, and I'll tell the person, hey, you're not the one that, you don't fit that. Let's just be cool. Let's just be friends. And then again, we go to that piece of being physical, because just because you're dating, you have to be physical with the person. Yeah. Be their friend, get to know them, especially mentally, and all of that good stuff. Then you won't say you're wasting time. Because women, we sometimes, yes, we have this photographic of how we want that man to be, how we want that wedding and the afterlife. We got all of that already planned. But what if it don't go that way? Then what? I've been where I would get with somebody and I see him as my husband. You start already planning stuff. And God
picked out.
Right. Because then you listening to everybody around you, they tell you, girl, that's the one. No, he ain't. This joker crazy.
Insane.
True story.
Yes. And you be scared to tell them, like, no, that wasn't right. This dude just stuck. So you have to be conscious of that. Again, be friends. I'm just believing that now. And I've been through some stuff where now I look back on it like, man, we should have just been friends. Thank God I have some that I've dated that we had to get to a point like, okay, this is just not going to work. But I love you enough still as a person, because we went through so much, to just be like, you know what? I'm going to be your friend and the best friend that you have for life. But we are just not compatible in that stage of marriage. And be okay with it. It may hurt, but it is what it is. That's the maturity part of dating. Pastor, you back? Because we lost you for a minute.
Sorry, I was having some internet issues. I'm sorry.
I thought you went and got married real quick and carried.
No, we know that didn't happen. No, that did not happen. No, ma'am.
You say no. You know what? I can't wait till that day I see.
Listen, just let me be the flower girl.
I'm dancing at that way.
So I don't know if I'm sure you guys have talked about it, but I did want to say, so this question about the fear I think we have to define what the fear is. What are you fearful of? Are you fearful of being hurt again? Are you fearful of, putting yourself out there? Are you fearful of, not being enough? Are you what is the fear? Because the only way for us to really deal with our fear in anything is for us to figure out what that fear really is, and then to handle that head on. And I think for me, one of the fears that I had in moving into another relationship was I didn't want to be the villain in another person's story. Like that for me was and don't get me wrong, my last relationship, my marriage, my divorce, me and my ex-wife are friends. She's one of the most amazing people in the world. Still till this day, I think that she is literally one of the best people I've ever met in my life.
That's awesome.
But there was still this feeling I couldn't get away from being the villain in the story, right? Because it didn't work out, because you didn't plan for this not to work out. It did, and for me, that was a fear. So I had to deal with that. And it was my own perfectionist attitude, the standards that I hold myself to that are unreasonable and unrealistic. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to do things wrong, right? So having to deal with that in order to move on. So you got to define that fear and then deal with that fear, whatever that is, I think is the way to handle that. Because you're always, even naturally, if we fall down and we hurt ourselves, or better yet, because this just happened to me, if you hit your leg on the end of the bed and it hurt all get out, right? The next time you in that area, you gonna be hold on, I'm gonna be real careful and cautious, because I still have the pain from there. I still remember what that was like. So I need to know that. I need to be able to identify what that is, so that I can govern myself accordingly and move through that, so I can make progress.
And I agree with Pettway, what he's saying as far as defining what fear is. And one of the definitions to fear is the unpleasant, strong emotion of an awareness of danger. So you automatically go into any situation with the expectation of the worst coming out of that. And a lot of people, I believe, the reason why they're robbed of opportunities is because, and here we are once again, is their ability to confront fear. Just defining one where you are, that you feel in this way because of something that hurt you before, but it doesn't mean that the outcome is going to be the same as your past. And sometimes you have to confront that going in, laying down guidelines, like what Jojo was saying, putting priorities in place. Hey, I'm going into this situation, dating this particular person with no expectation of weddings. I'm looking for just the opportunity to meet somebody and hang out. This does not have to be a husband type situation. I don't need to hear God in this right now. I'm not looking to do that. I think if people would kind of turn the volume down so much to marriage and turn the volume up as it relates to process, we can see this thing from a different perspective. There's so much studies and there's so many platforms and panels. We talk about folk get married in church, and that's great and that's wonderful. But from a universal standpoint, I think process should be the key as opposed to marriage. And so I may lose some of y'all on this, but if we can really get folk to process themselves, get into a place of processing themselves through their own emotions, processing themselves with their own mistakes, processing themselves through what they expect, processing themselves with what they don't expect, processing themselves with standards. If we can really drill the word process, then maybe that could be a strength to lead two people to the altar, and they can have a strong, watch this, not a strong wedding, but a strong marriage. You know what I mean? So I really think if people would be honest with themselves that the reason you're scared is because of what happened to you in the past. That's okay, because there's an answer for that, and the answer is to confront it. You don't go into a situation expecting old boy that's 6'4", or in Pettway case, muscles on top of muscles, and you're not expecting him to give you a wet band. You know what I mean? You going in appreciating for his muscles, and you move on. You're not looking for weddings right now. You're just looking for the moment. And this would really it would help a lot of people that's looking to grow, that's looking to heal, and that's looking to get more out of their lives. And then there's another thing. I got to go to scripture. God hasn't given us the spirit of fear, but what? Power, love, and a sound mind. God has given us power, love, and sound mind. Watch this. Fear has become the smoke screen to stop us from operating in what God gave us. Fear has been a Decepticon, allowing us to see fear through a different lens, and we can't even function in the things that God has really given us. Fear then robbed us of a right mind. You crazy as all out hell because you scared.
Yeah.
You ain't even in your right mind because you battling with fear. You can't even love the people around you because you're struggling with fear. You can't even operate in the strength that he gave you to overcome certain things and go through certain things because the fear has overtaken you. And we're operating and we're looking through life through a lens of fear, and it's stopping us from getting and being all who we need to be, even in our relationships and connections with people. And like Jackie just said, you may connect with an opposite sex, and I might not be your wife, but she might be a good friend. And that's okay. It's okay to go meet somebody and realize, okay, this is not future based. This is something else. You're not my purpose partner. And that's okay. It's okay. And so I'm just in that place now to where I'm asking God to wherever I am now from a logical standpoint. Because once your heart gets involved, then logic goes out the window. And so from a logical standpoint, God, show me how to process myself through any type of relationship that I'm having. Business, personal, clergy, whatever type of relationship. Allow me to see the process in this and allow me an opportunity to learn who I need to be to that person and also who I need to be to myself. I'm done with y'all. That's it.
I think too, not even with, I guess it could go with fear. I think that we make things difficult and some things are just simple. I think that thinking too much ruins a lot. Some things don't need to be a whole thought process. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're spiritual beings, but we're natural too. If I find you attractive and you find me attractive, that's okay. Just because I find you attractive doesn't mean I want to date you either. Doesn't mean I want to jump your balls. Doesn't mean I want to, you know what I'm saying? None of that type of stuff. I just find you attractive. There are several people I find attractive and they all know it, but I don't want you either. You know, not all of them. It's only one, but it's so simple. It doesn't have to be so
hard.
Strategic. Yeah, like everything is, I just feel like
I felt a Lauren Hill coming over you. It was like a Lauren Hill spirit when you said that. It could all be so simple.
All so simple. I really do think that they can just
make it
be simple.
Come on, Lauren Hill.
Yeah, I know. It's just literally, it can just all be so simple, like in real life.
I'm still saved, y'all. I just want to point that out.
Oh, you missed the whole playlist before we got started. So
I did.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, y'all got to go back.
We was grooving to Jasmine.
Oh, y'all.
Yeah. I mean, even knowing where we are. So like, I'm gonna use us as an example. Sylvia is in the middle of, transitioning and just realizing, okay, everybody I date don't mean I necessarily have to marry you. Jackie is, I'm ready for marriage, but I'm happy where I am. Elder Bryant, he's ready to get married. Brother is committed, but I'm not marrying you yet. Like, it's okay. All of that is just okay. Me, I'm good. Like, I am good if we date. I'm good if we date and you love me and I love you and you want to get married. Like, I am good, not wherever the wind blows, but I'm good either way, because I understand I'm a communicator. My heart is pure and I don't have any ill intentions. I'm not a user. I'm not an abuser. I'm not one of those manipulative women who try to use their body or any of that type of stuff. Like, I think I'm a pretty dope female, and I'm just honest. And if you're just simple and just communicate, I think that everything, all the other stuff will just go out the window. But that's just what I think.
I like what you said too, Tia. It's like you really have to know who you are and know what you want. A lot of times we go into these situations because we honestly just want companionship.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but you have to be willing. Like, some people aren't even honest enough with themselves to be like, yeah, I just wanted to hang out with somebody today. And if you can't be honest with yourself, you can't be honest with anybody else.
Absolutely.
So I think that's where a lot of the fear is. It's like, I was literally just talking to somebody else, but the fear of communicating what you want.
Yeah.
Like, and if I that's a big red flag to me. If I can't communicate like who I am, who I know I am, and what I want, then what are we doing? So I think that's a lot of the fears. Honestly, a lot of people do not, and I might be going on a limb, a lot of women and men do not know how to communicate in that space.
No. I'm finding that out. No.
That's
no.
That's the biggest issue I see.
Because we're taught not to, in relationships, we're not taught to be honest. We're taught to tell people what they want to hear. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's how you get somebody to like you. That's how you get on both ends. And so you have both entities coming along, giving over to this notion that in the end doesn't work, because the me that I'm giving to you is not the real me. It's not what I really want to say. And to see your point, you asked me a question earlier, like what was different in this? That was one of the things that was different. I was at a point where I didn't feel like I had to guard what I wanted to say. And I didn't feel like
comfortable.
I was, and it was just like, this is what's going on. This is an issue. That's so important, to be able to communicate the reality of what you want, the reality of how you feel, and getting to the point where let the chips fall where they may, but I can't sacrifice the honesty and the truth of me communicating, because it will erode at any possibility of us having a relationship. And this is what it boils down to. In my book. We have kids dating. People have not matured. You have to, if you're gonna, in my opinion, if you're gonna date right, you gotta be mature. Like, there has to be some maturity that sets in. And the problem is that we have not allowed ourselves the opportunity to mature. And so things like learning how to communicate in a relationship, I learned the value of that and how important that was, because I failed at it in several relationships. And I found myself in a place where I'm like, dude, you know what I'm saying? You were unhappy, but did you ever tell them what you wanted? No, you just let them go along thinking that was okay. And it wasn't. So that's not on them. That's on you. So you need to mature in that area. You need to do better in that area, And so, I completely agree.
Yeah, I'm not for it. I'm not for it. You said when you first started talking, like the whole not being able to communicate and stuff. Like, I'm a communicator. Actually, one of my pet peeves, I hate being ignored. Say something. Like, that's, I'm not for it. I'm not gonna say what you want to hear, or what I'm saying, to make you like me or nothing like that. I'm gonna always be me. And it took a long time to get that way, because Isaiah knows I was a people pleaser. Like, I would oh, I gotta look like this, I'm gonna do this so that they'll be okay with me. And I made a vow that I'll never do that again. So I'll never tell a person or act a certain way for a person just for them to like me. Whatever I do, say, or act, whatever, it's genuine. It's never to get anybody to like me. That's just who I am, all the way around, across the board.
But you mature to that point. And
Absolutely.
that's what I'm saying, is that there has to be some maturity in it, which is why you can't go into every relationship thinking that that's going to be the one. Because the truth of the matter is, some of those relationships come to grow you up. Some of those relationships come to show you stuff about you that you need to work on. Stuff, it exposes to you. So it's like on the job training. Some of it you're not going to learn until you're in it. And unfortunately, you might get fired from a couple of jobs, but go to your next job when you're ready and be better at that one. And it's the same thing. Like we have to give ourselves space and opportunity to grow and mature so that we can handle these things, a lot better when we are presented with the opportunity.
Absolutely.
That's good, Pettway.
Absolutely. So we have about 12 minutes, but I'm gonna say 10. You guys have any questions for us, who's ever watching? We did have another question in my inbox, but I think y'all just answered it. I know someone on here said that they're in the middle of a divorce from a 26-year relationship. Honey, let me tell you, feel every emotion.
Yep.
Don't let nobody tell you how you feel is wrong or inadequate, because how you feel is how you feel. It's gonna be painful, it's gonna hurt. You're gonna be jealous, you're gonna go feel every emotion and just be honest about where you are in each step of the process. And don't let nobody tell you how to go through your transitions ever. That's all I can say to you on that one.
I've never been married, so I'm very careful about what I say about marriage. But I will say this, my clients that are go through similar things, it's literally a grieving process. So you have stages of grieving for death.
Literally.
Any type of loss, you can apply the same thing. And there is no order to the stages of grieving. So one day you might feel like you at acceptance, and then something triggers you and you right back at denial, and you just kind of have to be okay with that being a part of the process. And then, like Tia said, that it's going to hurt.
Yeah. I told somebody in the middle of my stuff, and they looked at me like I was crazy. I said to them, divorce is just like death.
It is.
I said, at least, and I had to be careful with the way I said it, but at the time I was angry. I said, at least if your husband died, you don't have to see them. I lost this, and I still have to interact with the very thing that's now dead to me. You can't tell me how to feel about that. And that's very, very hurtful. Like literally, I'm looking at the thing that's dead to me. It's really, really painful. One of the questions we have is, how do you break up with someone that you're in a relationship with without feeling like a failure?
Define failure.
What do you mean by failure, Brandy? The failure of the relationship? Because it's
no, I'm saying define failure for yourself. Because the truth of the matter is, a relationship not working out isn't necessarily failing. Failing could be me not being mature enough to acknowledge the fact that this is not working and I stay in it. That could be a failure, right? So I think you have to define what those things are. One, two, you have to commit yourself at the end of the day to, this is a journey, right? And along the way, you're gonna make some mistakes, you're gonna have some mishaps, you're gonna do some stuff. It's all learning, and it's all leading you to somewhere. And so commit to that, and the fact that if you do feel like there are some things in a relationship that I felt like I failed at. Okay, well, it's just like in school. Okay, I failed at that, but this test is gonna come around again. And I'm going to learn what I need to learn this time from failing that, so that the next time I get this opportunity, this part of the test, I'm going to pass. You know, if and so I think that's how you handle that, is that you set an intention within yourself as to how you're going to navigate that and negotiate those things for you in your next interaction or whatever that is. But again, that goes to you being able to process yourself. What Elder Bryant said about moving to process and praying and asking God, give me what I need to process me. That is such a powerful thing. Like, you got to be able to process you. Why are you so knee bent on failing? Because guess what? I guarantee you it's gonna happen. So why is that such a big deal? You need to process that. You need to process why those things in you would warrant that kind of reaction. And the last thing, and then I'll be done. The whole thing about divorce is, you know, for me, I made a commitment, and it got heated during the course of my divorce, but I made a commitment. I was going to walk out of my marriage the same way I came in. I came in it in love. I was going to walk out of it in love. That there were days where that was a hard commitment, right? And it hurt, and all of those things that you just said. But at the end of the day, when it was all said and done, I wanted to walk away from it and be able to say, you know what? I did not walk away from this in hatred and bitterness. I walked away from it in love, to as much as I could muster up and as much as I could do. And so I think that there is a place that you can get to, but whatever that feeling is, honor that feeling in that moment. It is a grieving process, and that's okay.
Hey, Pettway, can I ask you a question real quick? How did you love while tearing away or walking away from your man? What was that like to love somebody? To love somebody still, you got to walk away from.
Well, again, I believe that love is action, right? And so the way I handled my divorce, I did it in love. For example, things like, you know, I wasn't about to fight her on things that she wanted, because I want you to be okay. So you tell me what you want from this, and whatever that is, that's what I'm going to do. You tell whether, you know, it was at one point where it was like, I was ready to move out, and she was like, no, because, you know, I need to get myself in a stable position. Okay, you need that? Okay, then I'm gonna stay right here in this house. I'm not going anywhere. Because I love you enough to still make sure you're provided for. I love you enough to still make sure you're protected. I love all of that. So it was still carrying out the actions that demonstrate love. Although I'm hurting, I'm still going to demonstrate those actions so that I can walk away from this knowing that I did it in love. That at the end of the day, I am walking away from this, but I'm walking away from it still engaging in the actions that I know communicate I love you. So no, there wasn't any physical actions, like, you know, we weren't, you know, whatever. We weren't doing what husband and wife did, you know, at that point. But those things, so, you know, if she needed something, you know, it was so funny. Like, her car broke down. Like, we were in the middle of our divorce, and her car broke down, and she was like, I gotta get a new car. I was like, okay, what do you need? Like, you need me to sign for it? You need help with the down payment? What do you need? Because at the end of the day, I still love you, and we have a son, and I'm going to make sure you're okay, because you still got my child, and that at the end of the day is the most precious gift a woman can give to a man. And so I'm going to respect that and love that. And so I wanted to walk out of my relationship. I entered my relationship in love. Like, I loved her, it was no question. And that's why I married her, and I exited it in the same way, which is why still to this day, I can say I love her. I still love her. She can call me right now and say, it was so funny. She called me a couple weeks ago. It was like, hey, I need this stuff moved in my basement. Can you come over and move it? I'm on my way. Like, no question, right? And that was because in that process, that was the choice that I made. It wasn't how I felt. Let me be clear. It wasn't that I didn't have feelings that were different from that.
That's good, Pettway.
I made a choice. And I said, this is what I'm going to choose and how I'm going to behave. And I will say, she did too. It wasn't just me. She did too. She was very, very loving in action as we came to the end of our committed relationship and a marriage together.
That's good.
Want to quickly say, I agree with all y'all said, but I think the common theme that I'm picking up is really after breaking up, processing and focusing on you.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in this bitter space and be stuck in this bitter space. When my relationship ended, it was dramatic. Like I could have stayed in that place. I could have pulled up on him, slashed tires, blasting them on social media. But it's like, what does that do for me?
Bust the windows out
like,
your car.
Exactly. Like, what does that do for me? And I feel like maybe not in those extremes, but there's a lot of processing happening in those ways. But eventually you have to come out of that and you have to own what happened. I had to own that my pastor preached a message telling me to stay still, and I went anyway. I had to own that. I had to own that I took a $10,000 pay cut. It didn't have nothing to do with that. What was going to happen was going to happen anyway. So I could, process in a way of attacking him, but that wouldn't have got me anywhere. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. And it's not intentional. It's kind of just what happens. But I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm guilty of, and I've seen others experience it the same way.
That's good. I'll say, Jackie, you got something to say before we go? We got 2 minutes.
No, ma'am. I hope everybody
I'll say,
so
I can't hear you.
No, I said I hope everyone has enjoyed the session so far.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. I will say in closing, Brandy, you have to get to a place where you have, with every decision that you make, you look to the end of the thing. If you stay where you are and you know that that's not the relationship you want to be in, if it goes to marriage, I'm not saying you personally, I'm not saying that you whatever. But if a person stays in something that they know they don't want to be in, y'all end up married and stuff like that, then you're going to have a miserable marriage. Don't always just look at the now, always look to the end of the thing. And kind of process where it goes if you're unhappy. Unhappiness, you don't just get happy in a relationship and this is not what you want to do, regardless of how you feel about that person. If you know that you want to end it, there's a reason you want to end it. So don't continue something that later it'll be worse to get out of, or you'll be stuck in it and you can't get out of it. I've seen that happen right before my eyes, so don't be in that place. However, I would love to thank our guest, Elder Bryant, Pastor Pettway, Sylvia, my sister Evangelist Johnson. Thank you guys again.
You can always thank me by way of Starbucks. If you just feel led to be used by God, go right to the Starbucks app. You know what I mean? And let that thing bless you. So
Starbucks is nasty, and I will not waste my money on that.
And expensive.
Huh?
And expensive.
Yeah, Starbucks is, if I go to Starbucks, I have to make my own drink. And it's basically an Arnold Palmer with mango syrup. It's literally what it is.
Wow. You know what?
Never
mind. Never mind. The blatant disrespect. Oh. Never mind. Keep going. Never mind.
But I thank y'all. I love y'all so much for being a part of the panel. I do know that there are some people asking us for Let's Talk About Sex Part 2. So I don't know. I'm not sure if we're going to have the same panel next month or any of that. But again, thank you guys so much for your wisdom. Thank you guys for your words, for your transparency. We appreciate it on behalf of our leader, Carlton. I love you guys so much. See y'all later.
She froze? She gone?
Oh, Jackie. Yeah, Jackie is froze.
Jackie not froze. You was froze.
I'm still here. Sylvia and Pettway gone.
Yeah, I think they're gone. All right. I love you guys. Talk to y'all
Love
later.
you too.
I gotta make a Walmart run.
Tell Walmart I said hi.
Will do. See y'all later.
All right.
Love you.